You ain't change your phone. You change your phone.
Did I change my phone?
Yeah, you remember every time it doesn't allow you to
Oh, the
download the
setting?
yeah.
Yeah, I did. I
Yeah.
did.
Right
I
on. Right on.
Yeah, I remembered tonight. Okay, where's my thing now? Here, I gotta just do this real quick here. How you doing, Charles? How's it
I'm
going?
doing fine, my brother. Doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for asking. How you doing? How
Oh,
you doing?
wonderful,
Oh, he looks really bright today.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, he
How come I
looks really
cannot
bright.
share this now? What is going on?
I'll share it.
No, I get them right here. Share. Boom. Okay, we are shared now. We are good.
How's that, Patsy?
All
Yeah.
right. Well, man, I'm excited for tonight's show. I really am.
Yeah, me
Um,
too. Me too.
we had two young ladies.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I think back on the 15th, just a couple of days ago, wrote two of them wrote letters to the editor, and we had gotten a lot of remarks and comments, positive, of course, asking us to bring them on the show. And I thank goodness for Facebook Messenger messaged, or actually, I messaged a post. Rain Palama's mom responded, asked her. She asked her friend, the other high school junior, Cheyenne Freitas. She also wrote a letter in that same newspaper talking about COVID. So bottom line is we got both of them on tonight. And we got a special
Okay.
guest going to be making an appearance as well. But we just wanted to give them some time to share with us what it's like going through the pandemic as a high school junior or a student in all grades, because obviously the social component has been altered quite a bit. So we're going to talk story with them, and again our special surprise visitor that'll be bumping on or popping in. But I did want to cover a couple of things before we go on, because tonight's going to be a pretty fun night, relaxed night. We're going to hear some stories from some young ladies. But I did want to share a little bit about today's developments with COVID, because it's just frustrating. You all heard, everybody was so happy with the numbers today. 56 cases statewide. Everything was wonderful. Mayor Caldwell was up and he says, guys, 37 cases today. 37 cases in Honolulu. We're doing it, people. We're doing it. And then we find out in tonight's news that we're 2 days behind in counting. So the numbers that came out today is Sunday's numbers, which is historically the low count because the lab's not at full staff over the weekend. So in essence, today's numbers of 56 cases, whatever it was Sunday's numbers. We haven't seen Monday and we haven't seen Tuesday. And then we saw the Kauai press release, as our wonderful county always does, lets us know when it happens.
Mm-hmm.
Two more cases today, two more positive cases, two more visitors that came to Kauai with negative pre-test, negative pre-test results. They ended up getting tested again. They didn't say why. I don't know if they got sick or if they did the random. I find it hard to believe they did the voluntary test, but whatever it is, two more added to the count that passed the state's safe travels program. They tested 72 hours before they left, tested negative, quarantine free, spreading the aloha, and later finding out that they're positive. Okay. Then we find out tonight on KITV News. I'm doing this real quick because I don't like to take away any time from the girls. KITV News tonight. Annalisa what?
Burgos.
Burgos.
Bogo. Burgos.
Burgos. They're here. Reports and actually interviews Governor Ige. Actually interviews him and asks him about our mayor Kawakami's request to go back to the try to get the mandatory testing after 3-day quarantine. And the governor said, I'm not inclined to support it. I'm not supporting any further restrictions on the visitors. Right out of his lips on the news tonight. Right out of the lips. And our mayor came right back and said, well, if the governor continues to reject our proposals, then we're going to seriously consider the opting out of his program. I cannot be more proud of our mayor. I got to tell you, I cannot be more proud of our mayor for standing up to that guy and saying, "You keep doing this, governor. He's going to opt out, and everybody that comes to Kauai going to have to quarantine 14 days." So this is my plea to all of you. And if you guys disagree, that's fine. We're still friends. We got to support our mayor. Now is the time to let him know that you support him opting out of this unsafe travel program. Unsafe. Even Dr. DeWolf Miller came on the news tonight and said, this is ridiculous. This is not the way to do it. We should be keeping our community, our citizens abreast of everything and keeping them informed of how we can beat this virus. The state has failed. The state's program is flawed, it's unsafe, it's dangerous. And I don't get it. They switched it back. Remember, we had the 12 o'clock, went to 3 o'clock. Now we're back to 2 o'clock, 12 o'clock. But now we're 2 days late because of resources, they said. Because of resources. $300 million of CARES money in a bank, and they no more resources to put out one accurate count. So anyway, Charlie, we get a couple minutes. Any comments on that? I just needed to get that off my chest because I'm pissed off. And I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to take away from our girls' shows tonight, the show. I want to be as positive as I can, but all of these things happened within the last couple hours.
Well, it's just sad. First of all, my condolences goes out to the National Guard who passed away, 52 years of age, working with COVID, and apparently passed away recently. And my heart aches for he and his family. So I'd like to extend my deepest condolences to the National Guard because they have done so much. They've done so much. And in, this peacetime, we consider this peacetime, he gives of himself and he passes away. And he's suspected COVID. That's not right. What can I say other than, you're right, Mel. I mean, it seems very, very unfortunate that here we have proof, and yet to answer the way he did, it's not, he's not basing his decision on science. He's basing his decision, and if you want Honolulu, Maui, Big Island to run wild and free with COVID, then that's the Kuleana. But Kauai has made it very, very clear via our mayor, who has been a staunch. It's been a two-way street. The people have supported him, and he has supported the citizens of Kauai, and that he's going to protect the citizens. And if it means we got to take this measure because the governor does not want to use a simple position, then that's his problem. As far as the CARES money, I know he wants to save all the remaining funds to replenish the unemployment insurance, to me, which is unfair because everyone, including taxpayers, have been putting into the fund anyway. So he's going to replenish the funds with CARES money. For what purpose? Because that's the fund they tap into even if it's not unemployment related. So they're gonna tap into that fund, and that's what he wants. He wants to get that whatever 900 million dollar, almost $1 billion. So it's sad. It is sad, brother. Really, really sad.
Our job now is to really make sure that our mayor and our administration knows we got their back. This is not time for play games no more. We know. We heard from Dr. Evson last night about the real numbers, not this fake numbers that the state is putting out. We heard from enough experts. We've read enough reports and studies. We know that the worst is yet to come. We have an opportunity right now, and the governor has an opportunity. Let Kauai do it. Let Kauai try this, and then we compare Kauai's results with the rest of the counties. Let's do that, Governor. Let's do that. But don't be one little bonehead and come out and I will not support anything to inconvenience the tourists. Well, anymore. What did he say? I forget what he said, but that's what he said. Wow. Anyway, We got them here. We got them here. We got them here. We got Rain Palama. We got Cheyenne Freitas.
Bing bing.
Oh,
Okay.
they're on separate. They're on separate. They were supposed to be together, but I guess they.
Okay, she's muted. Hello, girls.
Can you guys
Can you
hear us?
unmute?
Okay, ask to unmute.
Yes.
Unmute. Okay.
Oh, 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 oh. Okay.
Somebody's somebody's cell phone or something in the background is louder than on screen, so you got to turn it down.
I think that was
There you-
Cheyenne because as soon as she muted, the echo went away. See how we figure these things out? We old, but we're not. We still get them. We still get them, girls. Look like on
Okay.
haunted house. Look like on haunted house. Look like Cheyenne is taking us through a haunted house.
Okay. Oh, she's going into a separate room. Hello,
Yeah.
girls. Good evening. Thank you for
Hi.
joining us.
Hi.
All right.
You can see I got my blue and white. Go, Waimea. Yeah. Even though I went to Kamehameha, but I
Yeah.
still got the blues. Yeah.
I know, and that's why I'm wearing red because I knew that the two girls Waimea blue, you Kamehameha blue. So I needed to put in some balance. Core High School Red Raiders.
Yeah.
So how you guys doing, girls, ladies?
We're good. I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome, awesome. You know, we're so used to having old people on the show. We don't even know how to act when we get young people. We really don't. The average age of our guests are about 69 years old. So we're really gonna drop that average tonight, but I appreciate you guys. So first of all, Rain, which one is Rain? We know, but let's for the audience watching. Hi, Rain
Hi.
Palama.
Hello.
And then Cheyenne, which one is Cheyenne? Gotta be that one. So thank you all tonight. We do have another guest supposed to be coming on, but we didn't tell the public. We're gonna surprise everybody as soon as he gets here. But we just wanted to, and first of all, thank you all. I know, Rain, your mom said you were a shy person
Yeah.
and that she would have to check with you, but I'm so thankful and happy that you both made it tonight. Because we have a lot of people watching, and you know, every night, Uncle Charlie and myself, we talk about COVID. We talk about all kinds of things about COVID. We have had some youngsters. We had middle school people on our show talking about early on about how they were adapting. We didn't think it was going to last this long. How they were adapting the media class, and it was amazing. We've had some young people on, but tonight, I think what we wanted to really talk about is about those two letters, those two articles that came out from both of you on the same day, made the paper on the same page, and just getting a perspective of you both are juniors, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys are friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. And just getting the perspective about what it's like being a junior in high school. We all saw what happened to last year's seniors who couldn't even have a real graduation. I mean, all the proms, everything has been changed for us. And I think a lot of us old people sometimes forget about the impacts it's having on our school people, our kids. I hate calling you kids because you guys are young ladies already, you know, and so with that, Rain, why don't we start with you and just
Okay.
tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll go right to you, Cheyenne.
Well, I want to talk about mostly first off, I was born and raised here and there's so much things to do. And because of this pandemic, it's been like really difficult for me to have to stay cooped up in the house 24/7 and only being able to go out when necessary. And then when school started, it kind of was a different feel because it's like my last 2 years, and especially junior year in high school, it's like your second to last year where you have like SATs and you're ready preparing for college and not getting the full like junior year experience. And also not only for juniors but like for seniors this year might not even get to experience like their last years of high school. Oh, Hi,
That's a surprise guest for tonight.
Okay, and well, keep going. It just was kind of hard for everybody to adjust, especially me, because I'm so used to being around so much people and being able to interact face to face, not face to screen all the time. So it's kind of hard for me to change, and I for sure think it was hard for everybody else to change from just from being able to interact 24/7 to being on the screen 24/7. Shy.
Oh gosh.
Man, oh my gosh. Just pretend that nobody's watching, even though we have like 4,872 people watching. Don't
Not
worry about that.
okay. Hi, I'm Shyann Freitas. I go to Waimea High School. 16 years old. I'm a junior. And gosh, what do I talk about? um,
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Were you born and raised here? And then we'll get into the topics real soon. And that's Dr. Capono, who's frozen on the screen right now. I'm not sure why, but the reason Dr. Capono is on is Rain said that she wanted Dr. Capono on because it would make her feel a lot more comfortable if Dr. Capono was on with her. So I said, okay, we'll bring Dr. Capono. But he's frozen. I don't know what happened. So
Can you
Shine, go
hear
ahead.
me? Oh,
Oh, yeah, now we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
yeah.
Shine,
Go ahead,
yeah,
Diane.
just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll start a little bit about the impacts that COVID has had on you folks.
so I was born and raised here, and I played high school volleyball for 2 years, and I really love it and miss it. Um, I enjoy being outdoors and doing things all the time. I never want to be home. I just want to do things all the time. Um, yeah.
Well, let me ask you, Cheyenne. Rain Rain did touch on some of the hard topics that a lot of kids are talking. A lot of young adults are talking about nowadays, and that is the high school experience because it has been altered greatly, right? Either it's distance learning or there's something going on. Have you gone back to the campus yet, or it's been all long distance learning so far?
I haven't gone back so far, and everything has been online.
Okay, okay. So that's I think that's the thing that a lot of people wanted to find out because as they say, the young adults, it might be easier for them to working with computers and so forth. But then when you got the young ones in elementary school, especially the real young ones that has to do online learning, and they're especially if parents working, grandma and grandpa are doing watching them and having to help them, they might not be so computer savvy, right? So have you been told, any of your class been told about possibly when you folks may be going back to school?
I'm not sure. I heard something about like second semester,
Hmm.
but I'm not too sure if that was like true or anything.
Okay, okay, alrighty.
So, Rain, the everybody read your both of your letters to the paper. What what triggered you to write that very long letter, or we call that an op-ed? Cheyenne, you kind of took the shorter route. You wrote the letter. Rain wrote the op-ed. But what triggered that, Rain? What caused you to? Was it an extra credit project for school, or was it just something you said, I gotta write about this?
Well, originally it started as like our own person. It was for a class for AP English, but it was our own personal assignment. So as long as we turned something in, it would have been counted toward, it would be counted as a grade. But at first I didn't know. I was like, what am I gonna write about? I don't know what to write about to any publisher. But then I started thinking, like, what's going on in the world that it's affecting everybody, that I could like get perspectives or people's opinions on and how they're dealing with it. But then I couldn't. It's COVID is affecting the whole world, but I couldn't like ask the opinion of the whole wide world of like what's happening and how they're experiencing it. So I kind of narrowed it down to like our island and who's like the students and the business owners and parents, and how that's kind of why I wanted Kapono on here, because he's working with the task force, so I wanted to get his perspective too as well. So that's why it kind of prompted me to write that, and I was hoping that it would get published. I didn't know it was going to get published, but it did, and here we are.
Well, I gotta tell you, a lot of people read it. A lot of people, Uncle Charlie and I got a lot of comments about, hey, try to get these girls on the show. And I'm glad you guys are here. Now, how about you? Was it pretty much the same, Cheyenne? Was it pretty much the same reason, or was it a group project with you and Rain, or how did you end up on the same page on the same day talking about the same topic?
Well, we both have AP English, and it's the same teacher, Mr. Stengel from Waimea High School, and it was like an assignment. You could choose to publish something to the newspaper or write something else, and we chose the newspaper, and I thought it was like a good opportunity because if it did get published, then friends and family can read it and things. So I chose that. I didn't think it was gonna get published, but it did, which was good. And yeah,
it was more than good, and it came at the right time. And I'm gonna read a little excerpt from Rain's paper, and this is where Dr. Capono can chime in as well, because I think this is do you watch our show every night?
Oh, I can't
Rain?
claim every night. Oh.
No, Rain, do you watch our show every night? No. Okay, she doesn't. All right, that's okay. The reason I say that is because what you wrote in your letter, in your article, is pretty much everything that many of us have been saying for a long time. And the one that caught me was where you said, as a result of huge economic losses and the possibility of more to come, the governor has allowed tourism back into the state. Not only is he letting people from other states come to Hawaii, but if they test negative within 72 hours of their arrival, it is not mandatory for them to quarantine. This may be great news for business owners, but it is a whole different feeling for local people with elderly and young children. You remember writing that?
Yes, I do. I went over it 100 times.
Yeah, and that is exactly what we're seeing now. And this is where maybe Dr. Capono can chime in as far as what's happening in Hawaii right now.
Well, I just wanted to, I put my hat on, and I don't want to, overplay that I'm representing Waimea, but, in my pre-COVID life, I would be coaching high school soccer right now and trying to figure out how I can get the Waimea soccer team to, compete with Kapa'a and our other good competition on the island. And I'd be about 30 yards away from Rain practicing on the other half of the field. So that's kind of why I'm here to support. I touched base with Rain today just to kind of get a sense of like what you guys are doing, and then we just happened to talk about the show. And then I was like, you should go on. I think these guys are going to do great. We talked a little bit before this and just kind of like shared some information. But they have a great perspective to share. And the same quote that you picked up on, that quote that you just said is the same quote that I picked up on. And I think it's important to hear what these guys have to say. And really what I just have to add on is that not every place in the world puts economy before school. Vermont is one of those, the states that is, they're implementing a 7-day quarantine. And if you see what the governor is talking about. He wants the children in school, and particularly the youngest children. But young adults like these guys, it's important too for them to have some of the social interactions that they had before COVID. So I really just kind of want to get that perspective out there from their perspective. I gave them some context and some details that I think might be helpful. But that's really it. I'm going to try to shut my mouth and really let these guys, share where they're coming from.
Cheyenne, I want to do the same with you because I picked up on one that was talked about, that is constantly talked about by many high school seniors and juniors. And this one, really, really is critical for our kids in school. And you say, I myself have been playing volleyball for many years and have made the JV team 2 years in a row. I'm now a junior in this school and was working hard to make my varsity one day. This year could have been my chance, but unfortunately, this opportunity was taken away by COVID. It's sad to think that our precious years of playing high school sports are being taken away from kids who work very hard to get positions on the court or field, and who also gain opportunities from playing sports, like getting recognized in college scholarships. That is a big part of Hawaii youth sports. We just saw the National Signing Day on TV a couple of nights ago, whatever it was. You saw these local kids signing with colleges and universities. That opportunity for you both is not there this year. What are your thoughts on that, Cheyenne?
I think it's sad that these kind of opportunities got taken away from us. A lot of kids depend on sports for college recognition and scholarships, and even to get away and just have fun. And now we don't have that anymore.
How do you adjust, Cheyenne? How do you? I'm sure it's a lot of FaceTiming and a lot of Zooming, but how do you feel that? When I was in high school, I cannot say I spent a lot of time in school, but I did spend a lot of time with my friends, if you know what I mean. If that was taken away, it'd be rough. And honestly, isn't that kind of like the highlight of your days, getting to school and going play your sports? And
it's what made it fun.
yeah. So Rain, how do you fill that void? You guys still work out on your own? You do things outside of the school to keep you guys active? What's the day in a life of a Waimea High School junior that doesn't go to school?
Well, we do go to school online, so it's a lot of homework.
Right.
But when we get the chance to, it's mostly, well, I can't say for the rest, but I think for the people and students who are really committed for sports and are just itching for it to come back, I think they're all, as well as myself, still exercising and still trying to stay in shape for if there is a season, but it's still not the same as being with a team and having the full Waimea High School team experience. But I'm still trying to work out and stay as fit as I can.
Yeah. Let me.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, I wanted to find out from the ladies if there are other students that they've noticed, friends, or just through conversation with others, if there's anyone actually experiencing problems with distant learning. Because I'm pretty sure there are those out there that are like you folks said, you're not used to being isolated, staying at home. You're used to going to school, used to seeing your friends, used to learning in a classroom environment. That has all changed. Have you folks heard of any other students that might be having problems readjusting to this new way of learning? Either of you?
I have one of my cousins, actually, he just came from a new school. So this is his first time to an actual public school, and having to this is his first time having to do it all virtually as well. It's everybody's first time, but having come from a small private school, I think, to a big sorry, I'm kind of loud, to a big public school, it's kind of hard to transition, and having to do it all online your first year at a new public school was kind of hard for him. So I think, I don't know how he's handling it. I think that he's kind of having a hard time, but I think he's getting through a little bit.
What about you, Cheyenne? You know of anybody right now experiencing problems out there?
I've actually had like my auntie, she was talking to me and she was telling me her daughter's grades, and I was like, wow, like they were pretty bad. And like she was saying how she was having a difficult time online. And I feel like it's also hard for the teachers, but like sometimes I would email a teacher and they won't get back to me like until like days later, and it's like already too late,
Hmm.
and it just makes everything so stressful and harder for kids.
Okay.
That can get frustrating, in addition to everything else that's going on. I did want to just repeat one of the comments from Murray Ellsworth. She said, "Do you ladies realize that you are living through a historical event, and by writing about it, you are writing things that historians will read in the future?" Isn't that pretty cool? That people will read this at some point down the road. And um, one of the things, and there was a quote, and I have your articles right here, but I know I forgot. I should have numbered my pages because my prints on both sides, and they all, Um, and this was Rain. You said one student who preferred to remain anonymous said, "I rely on sports for my future." Another student also preferred to remain anonymous said, "Sports is my motivation to get up in the morning to go to school and get good grades. If it wasn't for sports, I don't think some athletes would go to school at all." Are you seeing that? And obviously, we're not asking for names or anything, but are you seeing that as true, that some of the athletes that really are focused? My son was that way. My son played high school football for Kauai High, and they were the champs, by the way, for KIF. Anyway, uh, but that's what he did. He went to school so he could get grades to play football. He didn't play football so he could go to school. No, he played football. I mean, he went to school, got the grades he needed to play football. Are you seeing any of your friends that are the athletes that were like my son? I mean, they must be struggling right now. There's no sports. There's how's their focus? I think Charlie kind of touched on it, but what's their focus like as far as school is concerned? Are they keeping up?
I can't speak for everybody, but I feel that some people, like, now that there may be a chance of no season, so I feel like some students are like, what's the point in going to school if there's not going to be a benefit for me of getting good grades? But as for me, I'm fingers crossed, hoping until they actually say the words. I'm fingers crossed that I'm getting good grades because I want to play sports, but also because I do need it for my future. Like, I need good grades in order to go to college. And it's more than just about playing sports. But I feel for some other kids and students, I think that was their way of being able to escape from like the real life was through sports. And the only way they could have done that is if they got good grades. But now that there's no sports, they're kind of like, what's the point in going to school if I'm not going to be able to even play sports? So I feel like some people don't even show up anymore.
Let me ask you something. I guess this is going off of what Cheyenne said. Now with distance learning, you email your teachers for, maybe you're asking for help, correct? Is there sort of like a hotline built into the curriculum where, see, a lot of kids, myself, I was a dummy in school. I don't even know how I graduated from Kamehameha, but yeah, thank God I did. But I was one that always needed really quick intervention response. You ask the question, you got to
For
get
sure.
something back. And from what Cheyenne said, there when you get that lag, you kind of forget what was the question in the first place.
Yeah.
You know, so does the school have something set up for the students that because of this distance learning that there's some kind of um like box that you folks can all dump all your questions into and get like a quick response to it, or it's just like, hey, when they respond, they respond.
Well, there's only what I know of so far. There's only if like your computer something goes wrong with like the school's Chromebooks that they have like a tech support page. But as far as like help with classes, there's office hours. So we finished school. I don't know about like I can't speak for Kauai High and Kapa'a and Iden School, but for Waimea they have office hours. We finish school at 12 and we have office hours until 2 o'clock, and that's the time like if you have questions then you go in and you ask your questions. But I feel it's like it's more than just asking the questions, because like sometimes you might be doing your homework late at night and like what's it gonna say, sorry, you might be doing your homework late at night and you have a question and you have to email your teacher and you have to wait till the next morning for them to respond. It's kind of hard because like you're saying, you have to wait until they respond the next morning, and sometimes you're like, what did I ask? I don't even remember. And then sometimes you want to get your homework done and you're like, okay, I'm on a mission, I'm done with my homework, and then you run into a problem and you have to wait till the next day and turn it in the next day when you just want to get it done like that. I feel like it's been difficult having to wait for responses.
Oh,
And you go through the same things as well. You experience the same things. I know that has to be. I needed the teacher's guidance. That I don't think I would do well in high school
I
online.
asked like a million questions.
But you don't have that opportunity. Like math, how the heck you do math? I got my college degree much later in life, in my 40s, online. Math, I had to take algebra online. It's tough. And when you don't have that immediate access to the teacher or the professor, it's hard because then you try figuring them out yourself because you want to get it done right in that period of time that you had allocated for homework, and you cannot get contact with the teacher. What do you do, Cheyenne? How do you get around that? You just throw the books against the wall and say, I'll get to it later? Or
Well,
I,
during class, I try to keep up and do my work then, so in case I have questions I can ask while we're on like Zoom. But if I don't get it done and I have a question, I gotta email them and I just gotta wait. Hopefully I don't forget about the homework and then the questions I asked and then it's too late and can't turned it in late. But all I do is just wait. I don't know what else to do.
well, I'll give you Uncle Charlie's cell number. So whenever you get stuck on any kind of math, history, you just call Uncle Charlie. He'll get you through it. He'll get you through it. He lied about being a dummy. He's a very smart man. Look, you can tell by the glasses he wears. You can tell by the glasses he wears.
I never knew they had a grade. I never knew they had a grade. I know you go by grade point average, but during our time, back in the 1800s, our grade was like F plus, F, D minus. That's how we were way back when. I mean, I was real close friends with George Washington, so you can tell that's how old I am.
Okay, now we're gonna get into some tough questions.
Yep.
All
Oh
right,
God.
I'm gonna start with you, Cheyenne, only because you're on my lower left on my screen. What is the just and there's no right or wrong answer. What are you most afraid of, or what is your biggest concern? And Rain, you'll get the same question, so you get the advantage. But what is your biggest concern about COVID? As it just not just so much about school, but just in your life right now, what is your biggest concern that you have about COVID?
Like what I'm afraid of?
Yeah, or just what is your concern? I mean, is it is it the virus itself? Family members, loved ones getting sick. I mean, what is your the economy, jobs? I mean, what is in the eyes of a high school junior, I read both of your letters. You guys are, I can honestly say you wrote like I would not expect what you folks wrote to come out of a high school junior's brain. Seriously.
Well,
So I was very impressed. I was very happy to hear it. But yeah, overall, in general, what is your concerns that you have? Enough to be one, just in general. What are your concerns about COVID?
well, as a younger kid, I do like to go out and have fun, but like at the same time, now it's like scary to go out because like, what if you get sick and then you come back home and you give it to your family, and then or you get sick and you have to stay in the hospital and nobody can come and see you, and it's like we don't even want to go out anymore because we're just scared of that. And um, like parents are losing jobs because of COVID, and some can't provide for their families or even get enough money, things like that.
Wow. Rain?
Well, for me, I think what I'm most afraid of is that this is gonna be the new normal. Like being able to see close friends, hey, how you doing, through the phone or through the computer. I feel like that's gonna be how it's gonna continue to be for, if these numbers keep going up, how it's gonna be for a while. And as a young adult, I feel like we have our whole lives to like explore and try new things. But like Shai said, with the fear of getting sick or the fear of bringing something home to your family, so it makes us a little more like on edge, I guess you could say, of what, and kind of holding us back from wanting to try new things because there's always that person on your shoulder saying you're gonna get sick or you're gonna catch something, or like, yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
You believe COVID is real? Rain?
I mean,
I'm
for
sorry.
sure. Like, have
Oh,
you, like, I don't think there's a way that you've seen everybody, like, you've seen the cases rising. It's not like, how are you gonna fake that? There's no way that you can fake that.
Cheyenne, how about you?
Same as what Rain said.
And yet, there's a lot of people running around trying to convince others that this is just another flu. I'm assuming you wear your masks and you practice the. I saw that, in fact, in one of your. I can't remember which one, but one of you mentioned that if everybody follows the rules, I think it might have been you, Cheyenne. Um, One of you mentioned that if we just follow the rules, we can get back to some kind of normalcy a lot sooner than later. And one of the problems we have is we have a lot of people that don't believe that they need to follow the rules, and we see it every day. We see it every day, and it's not just visitors; it's residents that are not following the safety rules. And what's you guys take on that when you come across people that aren't wearing a mask, or that I'm sure you approach as young adults. I'm sure you folks come across people that look at COVID as not as serious as you see it. You guys come across a lot of people like that?
I don't come across too many, but if I would, I would think like this is you need to. I don't know how to say it.
Just say it like we're all girls hanging out by a girl's bathroom, just talking story. Just say them just like that.
I don't know. I feel like people should follow the rules and respect others, even if they think like even if they don't agree with others, they can still respect their decisions and stuff and follow rules like everyone else. Not to sound mean.
Hey, when you go to somebody's house, whether if you go to somebody's house and you get up to and you're wearing slippers or shoes, what do you do before you go in the house?
Take it off.
You take them off. Why you take them off? Well, you take them off because not only it's our culture, but you respect the owner of that house, right? Even if you know, no, leave your shoes on, leave your shoes on. I take my shoes off. I mean, it's just a habit, but it's also because I respect that person's culture. Rain, I mean, you see the same thing, that why is it so hard for people to not respect others, especially the elderly, especially the kupuna, especially those that are have underlying conditions that can die from this virus? Why is it so hard, you think, for people to just ignore that courtesy? And now we're getting deep, girl. We're getting deep.
I feel like those, I don't know how to say it without being rude, but like those sort of people, they think that their lives, I don't know, I don't want to get like political or anything, but like how they think that their rights are more important than the lives of the elderly or young babies and children. And I feel like they should just take the precautions and be more respectful and take the extra step to wear your mask. Or if you see someone with a baby, and like you're entitled to your own opinion, but like if you see someone and you don't believe the same thing as they believe, just be respectful of them, wear your mask around them, and then when you get to your house and you have friends over, you can do whatever you want, but as long as you respect like out in public, so we can all like get back to normal. It's kind of crazy how people don't like have that sort of respect for others. Like yeah, it's just kind of crazy that people think that way.
Boy, I'm actually so happy you guys are on the show. I really am. You give us hope for the future. You give us hope. I can tell you that you two at some point gonna be sitting in the elected office someplace. I really believe that. No, I really do. You guys speak, you know, because sounds like for you folks, it's like us. It's just common sense, right? That's common sense. You're not gonna read this out of one textbook. It's just, I think it's probably just how we were raised and brought up. Um, but for the life of me, I cannot figure out why some people they struggle with that. Uh, Now, you may have said this, and I don't know. So is Waimea High School all online? Everybody's online? And I may have missed that. I apologize. Is the entire school online school?
Um, I think, but then I heard my sister talking about like, I think if kids needed some extra help, they can go to class. I even like heard my teachers talking to kids in the class. Like, I'm not too sure.
Ray, do you know?
I think that for everybody, I think that it's mostly all online, but if you like really need, like you're really struggling with virtual learning, I think that you can go in for school. And then I think if you go in for actual school, you stay there in like the regulated school hours, which would be to like 2 o'clock, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then I think there's after school tutoring for the people that really do need help. But
I think
for the rest of us, it's all online.
I think the way it's set up, because not everyone has connectivity in some areas. And my understanding was the people that did not have spectrum or the ability to connect, that they would go into the classroom. And I think that's how they were going to work it out, because I know they brought up this issue of how to get relay sites set up on this whole island so everybody could learn, you know, distance learning. But I guess that I know some places they do have those mobile Wi-Fi vans that goes around to boost signals in areas so people can connect that way. I don't know if it's here on Kauai, but I believe Big Island has that right now.
So this is the next tough question. This one's tough. And you know, there's a lot of colleges watching this show right now that might be looking at, wow, man, let's give that girl some scholarships, man. We want them in our school.
Mhm.
What is your career goals, Rain? Well, this time we'll start with you. What is your what do you want to be? What do you want to do? What do you want to after high school? What's your plans?
Man, hit me with the tough one.
Now Cheyenne get the advantage because she can
Yeah.
think about
Well, let me just start off by saying it jumped from like architecture to flight attendant to environmental science, and now I'm not sure. Like, I feel like I haven't found the right thing yet. I was looking into right now, I was looking into business management, and but now like this pandemic has actually helped me to like kind of be able to do my research and business management. I was kind of looking more into like management and hospitality, but like if this were to happen, like this pandemic were to happen again, I would be out of work. So that's another thing to consider, dealing with the COVID pandemic. So then I was looking into education, like teachers and stuff. But as far as I as far as I researched, I don't know yet. I'm leaning between both education and business management, but I'm not sure yet. I'm too short to be a flight attendant, so that's out.
But there's definitely no rush. There's no rush, and it's okay to think about it. My son, when I took my son up to school and he went to UNLV, his first year orientation, the guy told, okay, all you parents, don't get frustrated. The average college student changes his or her major 6 times. I'm like, ah. My son had changed them a couple times. So, Cheyenne, what about you?
Well, I love animals and I really want to go into something working with animals. Um,
Police officer.
huh?
Police officer. They work with animals every day.
Like, I'm not exactly sure. I just know that I wanted to deal with animals.
That's good. You know, for me, I always wanted to go into archaeology. I love and zoology because my favorite. I wanted to study on this rare animal. It's called Sloughalophagus, and that's when you goof off most of the time in class, and hopefully your teacher will give you an A just for being there.
Uh, Working with animals, I mean, that could be all kinds of things, I guess. What about the medical field? I was watching Ellen DeGeneres today. I don't know if you watched that. She had a bunch of nurses from Jefferson Health. I guess it's a huge nursing organization or huge hospital, whatever it is, 8,000 nurses. But they had a bunch of them on the stage, and I was watching them and was very, very touching and emotional because these people have been working like Dr. Capono in the field with COVID patients, treating COVID patients, and their lives have changed. And one of the ladies actually had COVID. She had a young 5-year-old child, and she was so concerned that she may have passed the virus to her daughter, and she never did. The daughter tested negative, but she had been isolated from the child for 2 weeks, couldn't see anybody. I was watching that, and I was thinking, wow, if I was young and I was watching that show, it might influence me to go be a nurse because I was so in awe. I was like, they were like true heroes, and I thought, wow, if I was all young again. Although I cannot stomach a lot of, like, when somebody throw up, I throw up. But watching them being so like heroes, they're real life heroes, like Dr. Capono. These guys are heroes. Remember after 9/11 when the planes had hit the buildings, all those people died, and everybody was, and then the little war started, and I was thinking, nobody gonna want to join the military now, but just the entire opposite. After that happened, people saw a different. They were heroes, and they wanted to be a hero. So has that played in either of you as far as, I mean, maybe wanting to be a doctor, a nurse, or anything like that? And I mean, you want to help animals. That's a good thing too. That's amazing. It's a lot of school, like being a doctor. But when you look at doctors and nurses, you share what I just explained. Like, wow, true heroes. They're heroes.
Yeah, after I had my accident and I was in the hospital for a little while, I was like, I actually thought about being like a nurse or a doctor, but I think I'd want to be that on an animal more than a human.
Rain?
I never really considered being in the medical field just because one, I cannot handle plenty amounts of blood like that. That's
Ah.
but also because like it's so much like I don't know, I'm not trying to like degrade myself or put myself down, but I don't think not that I'm not faithful in myself, but like I feel like I would be under so much pressure, like having someone else's life in my hands. It's kind of a lot to take in, and that's why I look up to like doctors because they are heroes and stuff like that. They save people's lives every day, but I just feel like I wouldn't consider being in the middle medical field because I so much like pressure, I guess. Yeah, pressure without yeah.
It really is. That's nothing wrong with that. Dr. Capono, what was your trigger? When did you wake up one day and say, "Hmm, I want to cut people open. I want to sew people's wounds. I want to." When did that happen for you, Dr. Capono? I mean,
I was in high school, and I started. My grandparents started getting medical problems, and so I sort of started to interact with their doctors more. At the same time, I don't think I ever shared this with you guys, but I grew up in Iowa, so I grew up on the mainland, and I started getting more interested in the situation for all Native Hawaiians, and Native Hawaiians in general have not very great health outcomes. So it all sort of connected for me at the same time, wanting to do something for the people that I, cared about. And then, at the same time in high school, I started feeling a stronger desire to want to live in Hawaii. But because I grew up in Hawaii or in Iowa, I was a little bit more used to rural areas. My family's more from Kona, Napo'opo'o. So I sort of looked at a setting more like that as where I thought I wanted to be. And then somewhat randomly, I ended up coming to Kauai. But I just feel like I've lucked out to really join this community, particularly the West Side. And, I played soccer growing up and got involved with coaching. And that's how, I have opportunities like this to know, these young scholar athletes. I coached Cheyenne's older brother in soccer. That was like the first season I coached, so that's kind of how I got into it. And when you care about a community and you have, 11 years of training in the medical field and something like this pandemic comes up, what do? I guess I feel like it's something that you have to step up. I think just like these two girls, you have to step up. Like you two, you have to step up and do what you can do. And for me, it's something that I feel like I have to do so that I can sleep at night and know that I did my best to try to protect the community and my family. I'd imagine all you guys kind of feel the same way. But I certainly don't blame you girls for not thinking it's necessarily for you. I mean, it's gotta be the right fit. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's better to identify that early. Mel, I wanted to mention something kind of crazy today too. I just did a focus group about the vaccination for COVID. They were asking health professionals because they're looking at us to be the first line. And guess the facilitator was Angela Keene, so I was really surprised to run into her. And I think that the reason why I wanted to mention that is I think that maybe at the state level, there's a feeling that people like you and me and Angela are, that we just criticize, but we really, I think, are just passionate about the issue and want to do the best we can to help out. So, we all take these opportunities to take an advantage of any opportunity to help out wherever we can. And I'm so proud of these girls too, because they took the opportunity as well to give their mana'o on this situation.
You know that what I recognized tonight just by listening to these girls, and like anything else, being on air, you're gonna be kind of a little bit shy, and it's okay. But I think, if you have a chance later on to go look at the comments, how people are gravitating to the fact that they're giving you folks a lot of credit, because for nearly 8 months now, they've been hearing from people like Dr. Capono, uh, like politicians, like all the experts, definitely Uncle Mel and myself for 8 months. But your age group is our future. And I think the sooner us older folks start listening to you folks, because it's going to set a pattern. It's definitely going to set a trend on how well the younger ones learn. Because if we're not doing it right during this pandemic, it's going to set a really bad, I feel it's going to set a really bad tone going forward. And I think we've got to get it right into the right fix so you feel comfortable about it. Because like I said, the thing that I am really serious about, I struggled in high school, when I got into the police department, and we would go to classes like a special classes, like when I was in traffic. Everyone in the class, they picked it up right away because I was lousy in math. I didn't know trade. I didn't know how to do derivations. And so while everybody was partying at night, like on the Big Island, I was back in the hotel room studying all night because I just didn't want to fail. You folks got a really good start, but it's the only unfortunate part is during this pandemic. But I'm gonna share one thing. You get through this, which I think you are doing right now, you can get through anything. And that's a guarantee. I guarantee you. And just don't lose focus. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what you want, go and get it. Go and get it. Go and get it.
There's absolutely no reason why the both of you cannot do what you want. My son wanted to be a physical therapist, and he went to UNLV. 2 years, and he realized that it's too hard for me. They like I memorize all of the stuff in my hand, and I said it's not too hard, son. It's just that you don't want it bad enough. Because if you want it, it's there for you. And that's my advice to the two of you is, regardless of what it is, you guys are two bright, intelligent Portuguese women.
Hey, 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 hey.
Palama Freitas, what you gonna do, Charlie? What you gonna do? They might be wearing blue, but they're Portuguese, at least part.
Yeah, but they look more Hawaiian than anything. So.
Well, I go by the last name. I go by the last name. They could be adopted Portuguese. It doesn't matter. They get the Portuguese name. But like Charlie said, 8 months, and I actually was hoping that you didn't never watched our show before, because I wanted an answer from you folks that weren't influenced by us or anybody. And when I heard your responses, when I read your letters to the paper, it was real evident that what the experts have been telling us on our show for the last 8 months is what everyone at all age ranges are seeing and picking up, which is important. The only people that's not picking it up is the people on the fifth floor at the state capitol for some reason. I don't know why. And you folks have your own group of people. One of the things Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard told us when she was on our show, she said, we got to keep making noise. If it's something that you believe in, and I'm not just talking about COVID, whatever it is that you folks feel strongly about, stand up and speak out. You're doing that tonight. I'm so proud of you folks. I really am, because I know it's hard. It's hard, and you don't know what. We didn't script this. We didn't send you questions. This is almost like a kind of like a job interview. Like what are they going to ask? Did you guys talk about this before you came on tonight? So what do you think they're going to ask? What are you going to say? Did you guys chat at all?
We somewhat did. I wasn't sure what kind of questions, so I kind of went over like, oh, okay, just why did we write the article? And then that was pretty much it, because that's the only question I kind of knew maybe you guys might ask is what was our purpose in writing this article. But besides that, I didn't know what to expect.
Wow. I'm just so happy for you folks.
Yeah.
I told you the hour would go fast, and it did. And we just want to give you an opportunity, both of you, to share closing thoughts, what's on your mind right now, a plea to the decision makers of our state, a plea to our residents and visitors. What if you could, if you had the floor for to talk to everybody, what would you want to say? And we'll start with you, Ray.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on your guys' show. It means a lot to
Well,
me that I get to speak. And if I could just say anything, it's no matter what you believe, who you support, be respectful for other people. Like you're entitled to your opinion, and I am entitled to mine. But be respectful of each other. Wear your mask, and I hope that what's it called? I hope that they make the right decision. The state makes the right decision and kind of thinks of our community before it starts thinking of like how we can please people from the other states, and um hopefully they can think about us before they start thinking about tourism, because it's only going to get worse if we let more tourists come back in and our community is still struggling.
whew. Did you hear that, sir? You know who I'm talking to. Cheyenne, what about you? You got the
Um,
floor. Whatever you want to say.
I agree with Rain and just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And I hope everyone stays safe and makes the right decisions and respects everybody.
You have an opportunity to talk to the millions and millions of people watching, and you is that all you can say?
Rain pretty much said it all.
Dr. Capono.
Wait, wait. I have
Oh, okay.
something.
Right, all right.
Hi, Auntie Marlene, if you're watching.
You guys got a lot of fans. I'm reading the comments. You guys got a lot of fans. I tell you, you have a lot of fans watching. Dr. Capono, you haven't right now. If everyone was listening, what would you tell them?
Well, first, I just want to say I'm so proud of these two for speaking up the way that they did. I can't claim that I had much of any role other than that I'm associated with their high school, and you know, we know each other either through family or personally. What I really thought was valuable about their perspective, and that I would like to get out to the community, is that not every location talks about COVID in the sense of how much space there is in hospitals. Some places talk about the health of their community and focus on the well-being of their children, and especially in school, especially the really young ones. I have to admit, you know, I had sort of forgotten to emphasize that because we had gotten so absorbed in this talk about testing and reopening and everything. And so I just hope people, you know, take into account the perspective that these girls shared. And I think it should be a priority. I think getting our kids back to school safely, it should be a major priority. And it also helps parents to be able to go back to work as well. I think about, you know, the years that I spent coaching, and I have to admit, I don't think as much about my star players as I do about the vulnerable players that I know did not have a easy home life, and that they're missing out on that opportunity to go to school and see their friends, and they're missing out on the opportunity of that camaraderie of being on a team. And, you know, Mel, you and I were playing up the rivalry. I think healthy rivalry makes us stronger on this island. But, you know, we're kind of missing out on that too. And so I just, you know, to close it all out, I think that this is their perspective is a priority that has been pushed to the wayside. And I think we should be thinking about it more.
Thanks, Doc. Dr. Evzen also talked about the importance last night. Powerful, profound statement. I wish we would focus. Charles, Uncle Charlie,
Yes. Well, first of all, as always, I'd like to thank all of our guests for being on tonight. Thank you so much to our to the young ladies. I know your future is bright. You know, don't second guess yourself. Just keep on doing what you're doing now. You're gonna have many more opportunities. Um, to Dr. Capono, what can I say? I am just so proud of this guy, especially being of uh, Hawaiian ancestry. He's a doctor. He speaks well. He knows all his target points when he gives a presentation, and it's just spot on. And I appreciate it so much. To the viewers out there, we our goal is always to inform and educate. Tonight, you've had the opportunity to see two individuals who talks about their life as a student and some of the hurdles that they're faced with because of uh, not being able to go to school, but learning through long distance learning. It is not an easy task. One of them mentioned that not only for them, but also for their teachers in how they have to structure the curriculum now to be taught. I know that feeling because as a teacher myself with CPR training, I do it online, and it's not easy because you know you try to look for that immediate feedback when you're teaching the students if they're compressing correctly or not, and you don't get it with long distance learning. So I think what you've seen here is two women that they know what they want and they know how to go for it, and they've made adjustments. And let's just hope that our state can see the importance of getting our kids back to school. It can be done. It can be done in a safe way. First, let's do it safe and get the kids back in school. Okay. So thank you for joining us, Mel.
Thank you, Uncle Charlie. I want to thank Rain's mom, Lolea. She answered the call, and she I guess convinced Rain that it was safe to come on our show. And then Rain, thank you very much for inviting Cheyenne. And then Dr. Capono, the condition for her to come on was that you would have to come on as well. So I appreciate all three of you on. And I tell you, so do our viewers. Our viewers have only good things to say. Um, this show is watched, ladies, by a lot of people, and they may not be on live right now, but they will be on tonight and they will be on tomorrow. We upload this every night. I put this up on YouTube, on my YouTube channel. So for those of you that are watching, every single one of our episodes, eight months worth, is on my YouTube channel, Mel Raposo. Very simple. So girls, you guys can go ahead and download that and save it, share it, send them to your future colleges or wherever you want to go. But I tell you what, I've said it already. I'm so impressed with the two of you. You guys are intelligent. And one thing that I really appreciate from the both of you is your acknowledgement of our culture and respect of others. That to me is so refreshing. Earlier I said that I didn't expect what you folks wrote to come out of a high school junior. I had expected a high school junior athlete to say, hey, come on, let us play. Let us play. The NFL is playing, the NBA is playing, the baseball's playing. Let us play. But no, you folks thought about everyone else and said, well, we want to play. We also want to be safe for our grandma and grandpa. That's what I got out of both of your letters and both of your comments tonight. Amazing, way beyond your years. We appreciate you guys. We're proud of you guys. I'm sure your families are all proud of you. So just thank you so much for agreeing. And you guys can come back anytime. Anytime you guys want to come back on, we can drag the doctor too. We'll have the three of you back on anytime. But we love you folks. We pray for you folks, and we hope that this thing gets over soon so you can get back on the courts and have some fun. Volleyball, right? You guys play soccer too?
I play soccer.
Yeah.
I play
Okay.
volleyball.
Well, we hope you guys can get back to doing that soon.
Thank you.
With
Thank
that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for another night with Uncle Charlie and Uncle Mel. I don't know why he started being called Uncle Mel now, but anyway, I'll be Uncle Mel. You guys all stay safe. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Take care. God bless. We love you guys.
Thank
We
you for
close out
having us.
with the aloha.
Thank you.
Aloha. Don't
Love you
forget
guys.
we gotta do the shaka.
Aloha.
We gotta do the shaka. This isn't Vala'au. This is Facebook Live with Mel and Charlie. All right, you guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. Aloha.
Bye.